The love of series is very easy to explain. We all have a need for emotions. And series are the best way to get them. Not all of them are equally good. But they give us the opportunity to experience new emotions and to look at our life from a different angle. As a rule, they are all made on conscience, with good sound quality, with interesting plots and interesting characters. That's why a future episode of this series has all the prospects to be very successful. According to official sources, the new episode will be released in the very near future. The premiere show is scheduled for February 15th, but now, we have to wait patiently. There is no doubt that the plot of such a series will not let you get bored for a minute. In addition, a huge number of viewers are waiting for the release of this episode. And for the creators it is a great incentive, but also a huge responsibility. The music that accompanies a piece of visual entertainment can greatly enhance the audience's experience, adding depth and emotion to the story being told on screen. A well-crafted soundtrack can help to set the tone for the film, create a sense of atmosphere and provide an emotional connection to the characters and their journey. One of the primary ways in which a soundtrack can contribute to a visual entertainment is by establishing the mood of a scene. For example, a tense, suspenseful score can heighten the audience's anticipation during an action sequence, while a melancholy piano melody can evoke feelings of sadness and loss during a dramatic scene. Another important aspect of a soundtrack is its ability to serve as a storytelling device. Music can provide insight into a character's emotions and motivations, and help the audience to understand their arc throughout the film. This can be done through the use of leitmotifs, which are musical themes associated with specific characters or concepts. For instance, a recurring theme associated with a particular character can signify their emotional growth, development, or even their eventual demise. Soundtracks can also create a sense of place by using specific instruments, rhythms, melodies, or styles of music. This helps the audience to feel as if they are in the location where the visual entertainment is set, whether it's in a bustling metropolis or a small rural village. It can also evoke the era in which the story is taking place. The importance of a well-crafted soundtrack is not limited to the score of a visual entertainment. The use of popular songs and other forms of diegetic music can also have a powerful impact. For example, the use of a well-known song in a scene can instantly evoke a particular emotional response in the audience, as well as provide context for the scene, allowing the audience to understand the characters and their motivations in a deeper way. The use of music in a film is often a collaboration between the filmmaker and a composer. This partnership can lead to a creative and dynamic synergy, where the music and the film can enhance each other in a way that could not be achieved by either alone. It's important to have a skilled and experienced composer who can understand the director's vision and create a soundtrack that perfectly complements it. Improvisation is a technique often used in the production of visual stories, where actors are given the freedom to deviate from the script and create dialogue or actions on the spot. This approach can bring a sense of spontaneity and authenticity to the finished product. But it can also pose challenges for the director and crew, who need to be prepared to adapt to the unexpected. One of the advantages of improvisation is that it allows actors to bring their own personalities and experiences to their roles. This can lead to performances that feel more natural and relatable to the audience. Improvisation can also help to uncover new ideas and perspectives that might not have been apparent in the original script. By encouraging actors to play around with different options, the director can discover new and exciting ways to tell the story. However, improvisation also requires a high degree of trust and collaboration between the actors and the director. The actors need to feel comfortable taking risks and going off script, and the director needs to be able to respond to the actors' choices in a way that keeps the story on track. This can be especially challenging when working with a large cast, as it can be difficult to keep everyone on the same page. Another challenge is when improvisation leads to unexpected results that can be both good and bad. It can add an extra layer of difficulty in maintaining continuity and cohesiveness in the final edited version. But it can also lead to some of the most powerful, unique, and memorable moments in the final product. In conclusion, improvisation can bring a sense of spontaneity and authenticity to a visual story. but it also requires a high degree of trust and collaboration between the actors and the director, as well as adaptability from the whole production team. It also needs a good preparation and understanding of the story and characters by the actors. When done right, improvisation can lead to powerful and unique moments in the final product. Actors spend a great deal of their time during production rehearsing and preparing for their scenes. This may involve studying their lines and working on character development with the director and other members of the creative team. They may also spend time discussing the motivations and objectives of their characters, and how best to convey them through their performances. When it comes to the actual filming process, actors will typically spend a significant amount of time waiting for their scenes to be set up. This can involve sitting around on set, waiting for lighting and camera adjustments to be made, or waiting for special effects or other elements to be added to the scene. During filming, actors will also have to repeat their scenes multiple times from different angles and positions. They may also be required to perform a scene multiple times to get different takes for the editor to choose from. This can be repetitive and requires great patience, focus, and discipline. When not on set, actors will also be expected to memorize their lines, maintain their physical fitness, and continue to study their craft. For example, they may take classes or workshops to work on different acting techniques or to improve their vocal and physical abilities. Actors also need to be mindful of their appearance during production. They may be required to maintain a certain look or hairstyle for their character, and may need to work with hair and makeup artists to ensure they are camera ready. Additionally, actors need to take care of their physical health and well-being, as the demands of the job can be taxing both mentally and physically. While actors may spend some time performing in front of the camera, much of their work is done off camera. They spend a lot of time in rehearsals, prepping, and studying their craft. During filming, they often spend a lot of time waiting and rehearsing and performing their scenes repeatedly. Costumes in movies and TV shows are extremely important, as they play a vital role in the overall visual aesthetic of a production and help to establish the time period, location, and character identities within the story. When it comes to historical movies and TV shows, costumes serve as an essential element in accurately portraying the clothing and fashion of a particular time period. Attention to detail in costume design can help to enhance the realism and authenticity of a film or show set in the past, making it more immersive for the audience. In contemporary productions, costumes can also be used to convey important information about the characters and their personalities. A character's style of dress can reveal clues about their profession, social status, and even their psychological state. For example, a character who is always impeccably dressed in tailored suits may be portrayed as confident and successful, while a character who wears grungy and disheveled clothing might be portrayed as rebellious or troubled. Costumes can also be used as a form of symbolism within a story. For instance, a character who consistently wears all black may be portrayed as brooding or sinister, while a character who wears bright and colorful clothing might be portrayed as upbeat and cheerful. In addition to serving as a tool for character development and storytelling, costumes can also be used to enhance the visual appeal of a production. The use of vibrant colors, intricate patterns, and elaborate designs can help to create a visually striking and memorable aesthetic. Overall, costumes are an integral part of the movie and TV industry and play a vital role in the overall effectiveness and impact of a production. Without carefully thought out and designed costumes, many stories and characters would not be as fully realized or compelling. One of the most important aspects of costume design in movies and TV shows is the ability to effectively convey information about the time period and location in which the story is set. Authentic and accurate costumes can help to transport the audience to a specific place and time, enhancing the immersive experience of the film or show. In addition to historical accuracy, costume designers must also consider the practicalities of costume design for actors. The costumes must be functional and allow the actors to move freely and comfortably, while also fitting the character's personality and appearance. This can be especially challenging when designing costumes for action scenes or physically demanding sequences. When considering whether to watch a piece of visual entertainment, there are several indicators that it may not be worth your time. One common sign is a poor rating from reputable critics. While individual taste can vary greatly, a film that has been widely panned by professional reviewers is likely to have significant flaws. Additionally, a low rating on popular review aggregation websites such as Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb can be a red flag. Another indication that a film may not be worth watching is a lack of buzz or anticipation surrounding its release. If a film is not generating significant interest or conversation in the lead-up to its debut, it may be an indication that it is not a high-quality production. Similarly, a film that has been in theaters for some time without gaining traction is likely to be less satisfying than a film that has received positive word of mouth. The talent involved in the production of a film can also be a good indicator of its quality. If a film is directed by a filmmaker with a history of making subpar productions, or if it stars actors known more for their questionable acting skills than their talent, it may be best to skip it. On the other hand, a film directed by a critically acclaimed director or starring a talented cast is more likely to be worth watching. Another sign of a film that may be best avoided is heavy reliance on gimmicks or marketing ploys. For example, a film that is being heavily promoted based on a single special effect or action sequence, rather than its overall story or themes, is likely to be shallow and unfulfilling. Lastly, trailers, posters, and the overall packaging of the visual entertainment are the most obvious indicators of quality. Filmmakers often spend a lot of money and effort to make sure the trailers and posters look good to draw attention. A poorly produced or misleading trailer can indicate that the film is not worth watching, or that its marketing team is trying to conceal its shortcomings. While there are no guarantees that a film will be good or bad, paying attention to these signs can help you make an informed decision about whether to invest your time and money in a particular visual entertainment. The process of capturing a visual story on camera, commonly referred to as production, can be a complex and time-consuming process. One aspect of this process that often raises questions is the number of takes that are made during the production. The number of takes can vary depending on a number of factors, such as the complexity of the scene, the skill level of the actors, and the overall vision of the director. A take is a single recording of a scene or shot, and it is common for multiple takes to be recorded for a given scene. During filming, the director and the cinematographer will work together to set up the camera and lighting for the scene. Once that is done, the actors will perform the scene, and the camera will record their performances. Depending on the scene, the director may ask the actors to repeat the scene several times, known as multiple takes. In order to get the best performance possible, the director may also ask for certain sections of the scene to be filmed separately, known as coverage, in order to have different camera angles and perspectives to choose from during editing process. In general, it is not uncommon for a simple dialogue scene to be filmed in 2 to 3 takes, while a complex action scene with multiple actors and special effects might require dozens of takes. Some directors known to be perfectionists may want to do multiple takes even for simpler scenes to make sure they have plenty of footage to choose from during the editing process, while others might feel confident in the first take and move on to the next scene. It's important to note that the number of takes also depend on the budget and schedule of the production, as each take consumes time, energy, and resources. So, the more takes that are filmed, the longer the production will take, and the more expensive it will be. As a result, the director and the producer must balance the desire for the best possible performance with the practical constraints of the production. In addition to the number of takes, another aspect that can affect the production process is the rehearsal process. Some directors prefer to do extensive rehearsals with the actors before filming, to help them get a better sense of the scene and the performances. This can help to reduce the number of takes needed during filming, as the actors will be more prepared and comfortable with the scene. There are many factors that can contribute to a production being perceived as boring by audiences. One potential reason is that the story or concept may be uninteresting or unengaging. Without a compelling narrative or well-developed characters, a production may struggle to hold the attention of viewers. Another reason a production may be considered boring is that the pacing may be slow or uneven. If the plot moves too slowly, or if there are long periods of time in which nothing of consequence happens, audiences may lose interest. On the other hand, if the pacing is too fast and events are rushed, the audience may have difficulty keeping up with what is happening and the emotional impact of the story may be lost. Another reason some productions fail to capture the interest of audiences is the lack of emotional engagement. Audience members will likely find it hard to connect with the characters, the plot, or the themes if they can't find something that resonates with them emotionally. It could be through the story or the performances. A production may also be considered boring if it is overly formulaic or predictable. If the story follows a familiar pattern or formula, audiences may find it difficult to stay engaged because they can predict what will happen next. Additionally, poor production values such as bad acting, poor special effects, or poor sound and lighting can also make a production uninteresting. The production should have high standards in terms of technical aspects in order to make the audience fully immersed and engaged in the experience. It's important to note that the criteria for what makes a production boring can vary greatly from person to person. What one person finds dull and uninteresting, another person might find captivating and intriguing. There are many different factors that can contribute to a production being considered boring. It could be due to the story, pacing, lack of emotional engagement, formulaic, or poor production values. It's important to keep in mind that people have different tastes and preferences, and what one person finds boring, another person might find compelling. Phobias are a type of anxiety disorder that can cause intense fear and distress in those who suffer from them. Actors, like anyone else, can be affected by phobias, and some actors may have specific phobias that make it difficult for them to perform their craft. One of the most common phobias actors may face is glossophobia, or a fear of public speaking. Acting, by its nature, requires performers to speak in front of a live audience or a camera. For someone who suffers from glossophobia, the idea of performing in front of an audience or a camera can be extremely anxiety-provoking. Another phobia that actors may face is stage fright, or a fear of performing in front of others. This phobia can manifest in various ways, such as a fear of embarrassment, a fear of forgetting lines, or a fear of being judged. Stage fright can make it difficult for actors to perform at their best, and can even cause them to turn down roles or avoid certain types of performances altogether. Agoraphobia, which is fear of open spaces or being in crowded places, can also cause problem for actors, as they may be required to attend events, premieres, red carpets and such. This phobia can cause severe anxiety and panic attack for actors, which can impact their overall performance and well-being. Actors may also suffer from social phobia, or a fear of social situations. In some cases, this phobia may be so severe that actors have trouble interacting with others, making it difficult for them to work in the acting industry. Lastly, specific phobia such as a fear of flying or claustrophobia can also affect actors. These phobias can limit the actor's ability to take on roles that require travel or filming in tight spaces. Overall, while phobias can be challenging for anyone to deal with, they can be especially difficult for actors, as they can impact their ability to perform and take on new roles. It's important to understand that phobias can be treated and that many actors have found ways to manage their phobias and continue to have successful careers in the industry. Being a famous actor is often seen as a glamorous and desirable career, but it comes with its own set of disadvantages. One disadvantage is the loss of privacy. Famous actors are constantly in the public eye and their personal lives are often subject to intense media scrutiny. This can make it difficult for them to maintain any sense of privacy or normalcy in their personal lives. They are constantly followed by paparazzi and their every move is analyzed and reported on by the media. Another disadvantage is the pressure to maintain a certain image. Famous actors are often expected to conform to certain standards of beauty and behavior, and any deviation from these standards can lead to negative backlash from the public and the media. This pressure can be especially intense for female actors who are often held to unrealistic standards of beauty and body image. Additionally, famous actors often have to deal with the constant rejection and criticism that comes with the industry. The process of auditioning for and securing roles can be incredibly competitive and stressful. And even once an actor has achieved fame, they still have to continue to prove themselves with each new role they take on. The constant need to prove oneself can take a toll on an actor's self-esteem and mental health. Furthermore, being a famous actor can also lead to feelings of isolation and loneliness. Actors often have to spend long periods of time away from their families and friends, and the intense nature of their work can make it difficult for them to form and maintain relationships. The constant traveling and being away from home can take a toll on personal relationships. Lastly, the fame and success of an actor is often fleeting, and many actors struggle with the transition from being in the limelight to being out of it. As actors age, the roles available to them may become fewer and less substantial, and they may struggle to find work. Furthermore, the nature of fame is that it is often short-lived, and many actors find it difficult to adjust to life after fame. Being a famous actor is not all glitz and glamour, and it comes with its own set of disadvantages. While the rewards can be great, the cost of fame is often high, and actors must weigh the pros and cons before pursuing a career in the industry. Advertising plays a crucial role in the success of any visual story, whether it's a feature-length production or an episodic one. It is the process of promoting a visual story through various mediums to reach a wide audience, and can make the difference between a production that falls flat and one that becomes a blockbuster hit. One of the key aspects of advertising is building anticipation for a visual story. This can be achieved by creating trailers and posters that give audiences a taste of what to expect, without giving away too much. For example, a teaser trailer might show only brief snippets of footage, while a full trailer might reveal more about the plot and the characters. By generating excitement and interest in the visual story, the advertising can help to bring in a larger audience on opening night. One other thing that advertising can do is to help set the tone and the aesthetic of the visual story. The color palette, music, and style of the trailers can give audience an idea of the atmosphere they can expect while watching the story. This can attract certain audiences and discourage others. In addition, the choice of talent in the advertisement, actors, directors, and writers, can also indicate what type of story it is and therefore attract a certain group of audiences. Another important factor is the timing of the advertising campaign. Some visual stories have longer campaign timeframes in which they release multiple trailers, posters, and teasers, while others have shorter ones. The timing can also impact the audience. When the campaign starts, if the audience has not seen any advertising for a while, they might forget about the visual story. On the other hand, if the campaign starts too early, the audience might lose interest before the release date. In addition to the traditional advertising methods, visual stories now also rely on word of mouth and social media to spread the word and create buzz. Social media platforms can be a great tool to interact with the audience, create a sense of community, and collect feedback. Positive reviews and recommendations from friends and family can also be a powerful form of advertising, as it is a form of personal endorsement. The process of creating moving pictures that tell a story, whether for cinema or television, is a complex and multifaceted endeavor. First, a script is written, which outlines the plot, characters, and dialogue of the production. This script is then used to create a shot list and a storyboard, which serve as a blueprint for the filming. The shot list is a detailed list of all the shots that will be needed to bring the script to life, including information about the camera angles, movement, and framing, while the storyboard is a visual representation of the shots. Once the script, shot list, and storyboard are finalized, pre-production begins. This is the stage where the cast and crew are assembled, locations are scouted, and the production design is created. The production design includes elements such as the set, costumes, and makeup, which will be used to create the visual aesthetic of the production. After pre-production, the production phase begins. This is where the majority of the filming takes place. The cast and crew come together to bring the script to life, with the director, cinematographer, and other key crew members working together to create the final product. During filming, multiple cameras are often used to capture different angles of the same scene at the same time. This allows the director to have a variety of options to choose from during the editing process. Additionally, special effects and CGI are often used to enhance or augment the scenes. When filming wraps, the production enters post-production. During post-production, the footage is edited, sound is added, and special effects are completed. The final product is then screened for the director and studio, and any necessary changes are made. Once the director is satisfied, the final product is ready for distribution. It is also worth mentioning that the way of filming can also vary on the budget of the production. Independent films have a lot less money to work with than Hollywood productions. This can mean that independent films have to make use of more handheld cameras and natural lighting, and require a more minimalistic approach to sets and special effects. The production process of an audiovisual production can vary greatly depending on a number of factors, including the size and scope of the project, the resources available, and the complexity of the story being told. In general, the production process can take anywhere from several months to several years to complete. The first step in the production process is the development phase. During this phase, the idea for the production is fleshed out and a script is written. This can take anywhere from a few weeks to several months, depending on the complexity of the story and the availability of the writers. Once a script is completed, the next step is pre-production. During this phase, a budget and schedule are developed, locations are scouted, and cast and crew are hired. This phase can take several months, as it is important to properly plan and prepare for the production to ensure that everything runs smoothly. Once pre-production is complete, the production phase begins. This is when the actual filming takes place. The length of this phase can vary greatly, depending on the size and scope of the project. A small independent production may only take a few weeks to film, while a large-scale Hollywood production can take several months. After filming is complete, the post-production phase begins. During this phase, the footage is edited and special effects are added. The length of this phase can also vary greatly, depending on the complexity of the project. A simple project may only take a few weeks to edit, while a more complex project can take several months. Finally, the distribution phase begins. This is when the production is released to the public. The length of this phase can also vary, depending on the distribution strategy. A production may be released in theaters, on streaming platforms, or on television. It is important to note that the above-mentioned steps are general and not all productions have the same process. There could be variations, additions, or subtractions depending on the production and specific needs. For example, some productions may have a more extensive visual effects process, or a more elaborate marketing campaign, which would add more time to the production process. Conflicts between actors and directors during the filming process are not uncommon in the world of visual media production. These conflicts can occur for a variety of reasons, ranging from creative differences to personal issues. One common source of conflict is the differing visions of the actor and director for a particular scene or character. The actor may have a specific idea of how they want to portray a character or deliver a line, while the director may have a different idea. This can lead to tension and disagreement on set, as both parties strive to bring their vision to life. Another source of conflict is the power dynamic between actors and directors. Actors may feel that they are not being given enough creative freedom or that their input is not being valued by the director. On the other hand, directors may feel that the actors are not following their vision or are not fully committed to the project. Personal issues can also contribute to conflicts between actors and directors. Actors and directors are often under a great deal of stress during the filming process, and this can lead to strained relationships and misunderstandings. Additionally, the long hours and close working conditions of a film set can lead to conflicts and tensions arising due to personal differences. Conflict between actors and directors can have a negative impact on the final product, as it can lead to delays and reshoots, and can also create a negative working environment on set. However, it is important to note that conflicts can also be resolved and can even lead to a better final product if both parties are willing to communicate and find a resolution. In short, conflicts between actors and directors during the filming process are not uncommon. These conflicts can occur due to creative differences, power dynamics, and personal issues, and they can have a negative impact on the final product. However, they can also be resolved and can even lead to a better final product if both parties are willing to communicate and find a resolution. Casting actors for roles in visual media productions is a complex and often time-consuming process. There are many factors that go into casting decisions, and the process can vary greatly depending on the specific project and the needs of the filmmakers. One of the primary considerations in casting is the fit of the actor for the role. Filmmakers must consider the physical appearance, acting abilities, and personality of the actor to determine if they are a good fit for the character. The actor must also be able to portray the character in a believable and authentic manner. Another important factor in casting is the availability of the actor. The actor must be available for the filming schedule and must also be able to commit to the project for the duration of filming. This can be especially important for TV series, which often have longer shooting schedules and require a greater time commitment from the actors. The popularity and fame of the actor is also often taken into consideration when casting for visual media productions. A well-known actor can bring attention and buzz to a project and may also be able to attract a larger audience. However, it is important for filmmakers to ensure that the actor is a good fit for the role and will not distract from the overall quality of the production. Casting decisions can also be influenced by the budget of the project. Actors who are more well-known or have a larger following may command a higher salary, which can impact the budget of the project. Filmmakers must consider the cost of casting an actor versus the potential benefits that the actor may bring to the project. Overall, casting actors for roles in visual media productions is a complex and multifaceted process. Filmmakers must consider the fit of the actor for the role, their availability, their popularity and fame, and the budget of the project in order to make the best casting decisions for the project. Dubbing and translation of audiovisual productions, such as films, is a complex process that involves many different factors and considerations. The main goal of this process is to make the production accessible to a wider audience by providing a localized version that is easy to understand and engage with. The first step in dubbing and translation is to select the appropriate voices for the characters. This involves casting actors and actresses who can accurately convey the emotions and tone of the original performances, while also being able to speak the target language fluently. The voice actors and actresses are typically chosen based on their vocal range, acting ability, and experience in dubbing and translation work. Once the voice actors and actresses have been selected, the next step is to create a script for the localized version of the production. This script must be an accurate translation of the original dialogue, while also taking into account cultural and linguistic differences between the original and target audiences. The scriptwriter must also ensure that the dialogue is timed correctly, so that it matches the lip movements of the characters on screen. After the script has been completed, the voice actors and actresses will begin recording their lines in a studio. This process is known as dubbing, and it involves the actors and actresses recording their lines in synchronization with the visual elements of the production. The goal is to make it sound as if the characters are speaking the target language, even though they were originally recorded in another language. Once the dubbing is complete, the next step is to integrate the audio into the visual elements of the production. This process is known as synchronization, and it involves matching the audio with the visual elements, so that the localized version is as seamless and natural as possible. In the end, the final product is reviewed by the director and producer to ensure that the localized version captures the spirit and essence of the original production. It is worth mentioning that there are different methods for dubbing and translation for audiovisual production. For example, in some countries, subtitles are preferred over dubbing as a way to make the production accessible to a wider audience. Additionally, there are also audio description for visually impaired audiences. The process of creating moving image content, whether it be for cinema, television, or streaming platforms, is a highly complex and labor-intensive one. With so many different elements that must come together, such as writing, casting, pre-production, filming, post-production, and marketing, it can be difficult to find ways to make the process cheaper. However, there are certainly ways to make the process more cost-effective without sacrificing quality. One way to make content production cheaper is through the use of technology. Advances in camera equipment, Editing software and special effects have made it possible to produce high-quality content at a fraction of the cost of what it would have cost just a few years ago. This means that filmmakers, producers, and production studios can now produce movies, TV shows and series on a smaller budget while still achieving the same level of quality. Another way to make content production more cost-effective is through collaboration and cooperation. By working together with other production companies, filmmakers and producers can share resources and talent, which can greatly reduce the overall cost of a production. For example, a production company may be able to use the equipment of another company or may be able to share locations or actors. Another approach to reducing the costs of production is through the use of crowdsourcing or other forms of funding. Crowdfunding platforms have emerged as a way for independent filmmakers and producers to raise money from a large number of people, each of whom contribute a small amount of money. This allows them to bypass the traditional methods of financing, such as obtaining loans from banks or investors, which can be more expensive. Additionally, production companies can minimize the costs by opting for less popular filming location. By finding lesser-known and more affordable places to shoot, production companies can save money on various expenses, such as lodging, transportation, and catering. Other ways to save money on a production include reducing the number of crew members on a set, streamlining the production process by planning ahead, and being mindful of expenses during pre-production, production, and post-production. There are many things that we, as viewers, do not often pay attention to while watching visual media. For example, we may not notice the long hours of hard work and dedication put in by the actors, directors, and crew members. The attention to detail in the production, from the costume design to the set design, is often overlooked as we become immersed in the story and characters. Special effects are frequently used to create breathtaking and visually stunning moments, but they can also be used to subtly enhance the realism of the production. However, these effects are often seamlessly integrated, so we may not be aware of their presence. Technical aspects, such as lighting, sound design, and camera work, also play a crucial role in creating the overall aesthetic and feel of a visual media production. However, these elements may not be consciously registered by the viewer as they watch. Music, sound effects, and Foley work are also important in creating a sense of realism and immersion in a visual media production, but they may not be noticed by the viewer. Similarly, the countless hours of rehearsals that go into perfecting a scene may be lost on the audience as the final product appears effortless and natural. In short, there are many things that we, as viewers, do not notice while watching visual media. From the hard work and dedication of the cast and crew to the technical and artistic details, there is a wealth of information that goes into the making of a film, TV show, or other form of visual media, and much of it is lost on the audience as we become immersed in the story and characters. There are many other things that we, as viewers, do not often notice while watching movies and TV shows. One of these is the use of continuity errors, which are mistakes in the film or show that break the continuity of the story. These errors can be small, such as a character's hair changing between shots, or larger, such as a character suddenly disappearing without explanation. While these errors can be distracting for some viewers, they are often overlooked by the audience as a whole. Another thing that we may not notice while watching movies and TV shows is the use of product placement, which is when brands and products are featured prominently in the film or show in exchange for payment. This can be subtle, such as a character drinking a certain brand of soda, or more overt, such as a character driving a specific make and model of car. While product placement is a common practice in the entertainment industry, it can be easy to overlook if we are not paying attention. The decision of whether to consume a visual story as a series or as a movie is largely a matter of personal preference, and each format has its own unique advantages and disadvantages. One of the main benefits of a series format is that it allows for a more in-depth exploration of the characters and the world in which the story takes place. A series can unfold over multiple episodes, providing the opportunity to delve deeper into the motivations and backstories of the characters and to establish a more rich and detailed universe. With a series, storytellers can also create long-term arcs, mystery and cliffhangers that keeps the audience engaged and wanting for more. On the other hand, a movie format is limited by the time constraints of a single feature-length production. This means that the story must be more self-contained and the characters and world may not be as fully developed. However, movies tend to have a clear and defined structure and are more easily digestible. They also tend to have a more focused and a singular message or theme they want to convey. Another advantage of a series is the possibility of experimenting with different types of episodes. A series can have standalone episodes that focus on a single character or event while also having a larger storyline that ties the season together. This allows for more variety and can cater to different audiences. Movies, on the other hand, tend to stick to one formula and style. This can be a disadvantage for some audiences that might not enjoy the same type of story throughout the whole film. Another thing to consider is the audience experience and the level of commitment required. A series is typically watched over a longer period of time, usually on a weekly basis. And this can create a sense of anticipation and engagement with the audience, which can lead to a more loyal following. On the other hand, movies are usually watched in one sitting and require a smaller commitment from the audience in terms of time and energy. Production-wise, a series usually comes with a bigger budget and a larger crew, which allows for more elaborate special effects and more creative freedom in terms of storytelling. However, a movie usually has a higher budget per minute of screen time, giving them the ability to be more visually stunning and impactful.